Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, DIY Decor. I am going to take this styrofoam wreath form from the Dollar Tree and I am going to cut it in half and I am going to make a spring gnome wreath. I'm thinking I'm going to use the other half and maybe do a summer gnome wreath. I don't know, you guys let me know what you think. So I have this material. I already have it in my stash. It's kind of this green pattern. I love the dark green against the light green. I think it's very pretty. And I just want to measure to see how much I need to cut off. So I put the wreath inside the material about an inch down. And then I fold the material over on itself to see how much I need to cut. And I do my fold about an inch as well. And then I just take a Sharpie and I mark where I want to cut. And of course I'll use the lines as a guide to cut. Now vertically I measured 24 inches. So now I'm just going to hot glue right on the line. And this is inside out, so I'm gluing it inside out. And I just glue all the way down to the end and then I'm going to turn it right side out. So now that the material is right side out, I have about an inch left that I need to glue down, but I want to make a nice little fold. So I just add some glue to the bottom and then I take the top piece and I glue it down to the bottom piece right where we glued it when it was inside out. And now I have a nice little fold that I can glue down. Again, I turn the fabric inside out and I gather it at the top and I use a piece of jute twine from the Dollar Tree and I wrap it around a few times, tie it in a tight knot, cut off the excess strings. And then I turn it back right side out. And this is one of those dust mop heads from the Dollar Tree. And this is going to be our gnome's beard and I'm just going to glue it around the curved part of our foam wreath. And then I will stick it inside of our fabric that is now our gnome's hat. And I glue the fabric to the sides of the wreath just so that it will stay in place. So now I'm using some stuffing from an old pillow and I'm just pulling it apart, fluffing it back out and sticking it inside the bottom of the hat just to give it a little bit more support and a little bit more structure. And then I will glue the piece of fabric down onto the gnome's beard. This yarn came from the Dollar Tree. I wrap it around my hands about 25 times and then I take a piece of the yarn and I tie it around the center as tight as I can and then I start snipping away at those loops. And then I start just snipping it, trying to straighten it up, giving it a haircut to get a nice size pom-pom. And we're going to glue the pom-pom to the tip of the hat. So first I take and glue the hat down, and then I glue the pom-pom on to the end of the hat. Then I flip the gnome over and I get a piece of this rope and I'm going to trim it down and loop it and hot glue it down to the back of the gnome, and this will be the hanger for the gnome. So back to the front side, ignore the nose, I snipped that off. It was just too small and I just didn't think it was proportionate enough. But I have some leftover burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use this to edge up the bottom of the gnome's hat. So I add glue to the end and I actually stick it under the hat. I should have done this before I glued the top part of the hat down, but I didn't. So I take hot glue and add it to just the bottom part of the ribbon and I go all the way around the hat. And then when I get to the other side, again, I take the piece of ribbon, snip off the end, and tuck it under the hat. Using leftover pieces of greenery and florals, I'm going to use some of these to stick down in the hat, and eventually I do glue these down when I get them in place. But these are just a few pieces of boxwood from Walmart and some other florals that I had left over. So I'm just snipping them down and sticking them inside of the hat. So I use some purples and pinks, and then I use some of the greenery as well. So I just keep rearranging it, getting pieces out or whatever until it looks right or it looks right to me. And then I glue them down. Now this is a piece of green burlap ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree. I just glue the edges together. Then I'm going to scrunch it to make a bow. And I'm using this green baker's twine that I got from the Dollar Tree to tie a knot in the center. And then of course I'll snip off of the edges of the twine. Then I fluff up our bow, and I'm gonna glue this right under those florals that we placed in the hat. So this is a plastic golf ball. Now I actually got this from my son. He likes to go outside and hit golf balls into the woods. So yeah, this came from him. But you could definitely use the ping pong balls or styrofoam ball from the Dollar Tree. But I just take this box cutter and I just cut right down the center of the plastic golf ball. And when I get it almost all the way around, I'm able to just open it up and take the scissors and snip off the rest. This is the back side of one of those bunny sacks from the Dollar Tree they had at Easter. And I just put some hot glue on the center of our ball and add the bunny sack. And then I just start gluing down those edges, trying to get them as smooth as I can. And this will be our gnome's new nose, much bigger and much more proportionate. Then I just go around the bottom edge, snipping off the excess piece of fabric. And then we'll take and add some glue to the edge and glue it right down to the gnome, right up under the hat. And here it is hanging on my door. I think this is so cute. However, I am definitely a sucker for gnomes. You guys let me know what you think and let me know if you want me to do a summer version. For this next DIY, I was inspired by these rabbit sculptures from the Pottery Barn website, and I wanted to see if I could replicate them using the air dry clay from the Dollar Tree. Now, this is in the color of terracotta. This was the only color that my Dollar Tree had, and I know they also have like a white, and I don't know about the other colors. You guys let me know if you've seen other colors. But I have never used clay before, so this was my first time. It was very interesting. I wasn't that great at it, but I did have a lot of fun with it, and I think I will try some more things using the clay from the Dollar Tree. So the first thing I do is just roll out a small head for one of the bunnies. And then I'm going to take a big chunk and just start shaping it until I get what kind of sort of looks like a bunny shape from the picture. And I use some water. There's a cup of water beside me, and I just dip my finger in it to get the clay wet, and it really helps to kind of smooth it out, get rid of the cracks and things like that. And it also says that on the directions, or it says to do that on the package. So I just keep working with it, and I just keep shaping it. You'll see me push it down onto the plastic that's on my table as well to make the bottom flat and smooth so that the bunny can stand on its own. I decided I would make separate pieces for these bunnies and then stick them all together. So I'm going to make 2 bodies, 2 heads, 1 tail, and then 4 ears. Now I'm getting another piece and I'm going to roll it into a ball, and this will be the bunny's head. And then you'll see me start squeezing and pulling. I'm trying to create more of an oblong, like an egg shape. And I'm also trying to give it a little bit more dimension in the front, like where the nose would be. Again, I'm also using water to smooth it out the best I can. I make sure that it's flat on the bottom so that hopefully it will stick to the bunny body. Now, I struggled with that. That little head fell off on me so many times, but using lots of water, and I just kept running my finger around where the 2 pieces of pottery met, and eventually I did get it to stick on there. I did eventually grab a paintbrush and stick it in the water and use it to go around the bunny's head and the bunny's bottom, because it really got into that crack good. I use another tiny piece for the tail, and now I'm doing ears. So I just grabbed a piece, rolled it into like a long thin cylinder, and then tore it in 2, and I'm just shaping some ears. I want them flat, but not too flat, because I want them to have some structure so that they won't fall apart on me. I'm just trying to make sure that I get a kind of a curved point on one side, and then they're pretty flat on the bottom so that I could stick them onto the bunny. Then this is just a paintbrush, and I'm using the end of it. I kind of trace out the inner side of the ear, and then I just start digging out the inside of the ear. Again, making sure that I don't pull out too much and it's not too thin that it cracks or breaks on me. And then again, I dip the brush in water and smooth out all of the edges. And now I'm going to do the other bunny bottom. Now this one is almost kind of like a candy corn shape. So I just keep working with it and smoothing it out with water until I get the shape that I want. Again, making sure it's flat on the bottom and it can stand on its own. And then I do the ears for this bunny the same way as the last bunny. This bunny was pretty stubborn, or maybe I was just tired, because I had worked on this for a good amount of time, but I just could not get the ears and the head to stick onto this bunny. So I decided I would just let them dry individually and then try to glue them on. But this bunny, I had no problem with it, and here I am attaching the ears, and once I started curving the ears toward the back, they started cracking on me. So again, I'm just using water to smooth out the edges and to try to get them to stick on there. I did let these dry overnight, so the next day I went back and painted everything in a coat of Waverly Chalk Paints plaster. And now you'll see me assembling this bunny. I'm trying to hot glue the pieces on. That did not work. Epic fail. I did have to go in and use some E6000 and a little bit of hot glue. I do go over and dry brush some of Apple Barrel's burnt umber on all the pieces, and then I go back over it with some more of the plaster paint as well. And here they are. I think these turned out super cute, especially since this is the first time I have ever worked with clay, and I had no idea what I was doing. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe and give me a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time.